welcome to the very first installment of Jaclyn is Gardening. My name is Jaclyn. You can find me on Instagram as Jaclyn is Gardening or my knitting and craft and sewing account at Jaclyn Salem. I am very excited to start this new adventure, really, or just this new documenting process. I'm sure that many of you are here because you follow my crafting YouTube channel, and thank you so much for being here. But if you're not and you've just stumbled across this, my name is Jaclyn. I live in Brooklyn, New York City with my boyfriend and 2 kitties, and yeah, it's a great place for me to live, but I'm originally from Tennessee and I'm used to having a lot of green space, and this is the first time that I've ever really had access to green space to garden in, at least. So I'm moving in with my boyfriend this spring, and there's a green space that I can use, and I'm really excited to get started and, you know, kind of garden for the first time. I would wish I could have indoor plants, but unfortunately that's just not possible with my 2 kitties. They absolutely love nomming on any plant snacks that they can get their little paws on. So that's out of the picture, unfortunately, but I am so excited to have this green space. So I'm very inspired by Katrina of Homegrown Garden. So if you don't follow her, you really should. I find her so inspiring. Her Instagram is at homegrown.garden, and she does allotment tours of her allotment where she lives in the UK. I don't have nearly that amount of space, so I'm going to be an urban gardener. I just have a few raised beds in the back. And I'm really inspired by the way she does her videos. I love the allotment tours. She does 1 a month, which is what I'm going to aim to do, just because hers is the only one that I could find. Well, not the only one, there are a few others, but hers is one of the few that I could find that kind of follows the format that I like to watch. So I thought, why not join in and share my plot update every month as well and create more content that I like to watch. So that's kind of my idea. Was just really inspired by Katrina and love everything that she does, and am so inspired by her plot tours, so I really want to do something similar. So every month it's my plan to give you a tour around my urban garden plot, show you what's new, show you things I've potentially purchased or acquired or, you know, recycled or, you know, things like that to use on my plot, and anything that I've planted or harvested. So that's the idea. The plot is very raw right now. I just found out that I got it in last Thanksgiving, which is at the end of November. So I have not really done anything with it yet beyond discovering A, that I have it, and then B, meeting the person, his name is Chris, that I'm going to share it with, and he gave me a brief tour of other things that people have grown there, what grows well there. I've spent a lot of time actually over in this area because there's a workshop over there that my boyfriend uses. He likes to build furniture. So I'm very familiar with the space. It gets so much sunlight back there. There are tons of bees, which is amazing to see. So I have a lot of pollinators already over there. And yeah, the space is just incredible, and Chris seems so nice and willing to share the space with me, so I cannot wait. Before we head over there, I do want to show you a few things that I got for Christmas, because like I said, I'm starting from ground zero. You'll see when you get there too, it's a pretty raw space and needs quite a bit of work to bring it up to kind of how I want to use it. I have no tools. As much as I can acquire secondhand, I would like to do so, but the options in New York are just not super plentiful. So I've been keeping an eye on Craigslist. I don't have Facebook, so I can't do things like Facebook Marketplace or anything like that, but yeah, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on any used goods I can find. I should probably go to some thrift shops in the area to see if there might be anything there, but most of those are just closed in New York, so we will see. So I'd like to acquire as much secondhand as I possibly can. The basement of this building is just chock full of stuff that people have left over the years, my boyfriend's family owns the building that we live in, and also a few buildings up the block. So there might even be tons of gardening supplies in there. I'm sure Chris said he'd be willing to share as well, so that's exciting. So yeah, it's all very exciting, all very new. I do want to show you some of the things that my parents got me for Christmas. This little toolkit with my Instagram name on it. And they got me a few things. I have these gloves that I purchased. I got these for myself from Home Depot. They're leather, so they'll hopefully last a bit longer. So they're a little bit thicker, but not so thick that I can't move my fingers around in them. And then for my parents, got this little spade, hand spade. This tool to help dig up seedlings or for transplanting transplants, I mean. A larger trowel. Oh, this one has the measurements on it, so I can see how far into the ground I'm digging. A hand fork. Some more flexible gardening gloves for my parents. These will be great for summertime. It's too cold right now to use those. And a pair of secateurs. That's all I have right now. These are all the tools I have. Like I said, total newbie. Total newbie. Do not have hardly anything at all to get started, but I don't think that you have to spend a lot of money to get started in gardening. I think I'm going to hopefully be able to get a lot of things secondhand. Yeah, I'm just really excited to get started. Also, I've very heavily marked up my seed catalog. I got one from Johnny's and also one from Select Seeds this year. So those are the two places that I'll probably be ordering the majority of my seeds from. I would like to grow the majority of my plants from seed, but I have a lot of local garden centers available to me as well, so I'll probably get a few of them as transplants. And my first purchase, I couldn't help it. I was so excited when I found out that I got the garden that I had to treat myself to a little something to grow in it right away. And I know it's really quite late to be planting garlic, but according to my research, the bulbs will still grow, they just won't be as big as before. So I got two kinds. Which was no easy task because I do plan on organic gardening in a no-dig method, ideally. But the options for organic garlic, few and far between this time of year because of course everyone's already purchased it to plant in the fall when you're supposed to. So from Keen Garlic, I got this Pahosky Purple. This is a hardneck or stiff neck garlic, which is said to have better flavor than the soft neck garlics. That was the only hardneck variety I could find that was organic. And then from Peaceful Valley, organic Inchelium Red. And this is a soft neck variety. So I have, I think, a quarter pound or maybe a half a pound of the Inchelium Red, the soft neck, and a quarter pound of the hard neck garlic. So those are my first purchases. I'm dying to get these into the ground, but I have not done a soil test back there. Chris says it's safe. He's grown food in it and other people have grown food in it. But because this is Brooklyn, and the buildings are quite old and there's tons of, I'm sure like lead paint that was used back in the day and who knows what all out in the ground. I just want to be safe than sorry and get the soil tested. So I'm gonna get a few samples today. When I go there, I'll show you. I'm going to take a few samples and make sure that I get that soil tested just to make sure that it doesn't have any lead specifically in it, and then also get the pH tested while I'm at it. So Cornell University in New York is the local university that will do soil tests for you, so I've already contacted them to figure out what exactly I need to send because it's a little bit confusing because it's all my first time. So yeah, if you're a newbie gardener like me, I'm sure, or if you're a seasoned gardener, you probably think this is adorable, like enthusiasm, and I think you have to go into it with a lot of enthusiasm. I know next to nothing. My parents have gardened my entire life, but somehow I just never I mean, I know I have some information that I've gleaned from them over the years, and I have plenty of things I can ask them, but I'm such a planner and such a researcher. I've been listening to podcasts nonstop, so I'm sure I'll share my favorites with you at some point in the future. But for now, I just kind of wanted to get this intro video out there, tell you all about me, who I am, show you the plot and the space, and then today I'm planning on doing a little bit of clearing. So Chris and I have divided up the space. He's told me which parts he uses, and I'm free to kind of use whatever I want in the others. And there's a lot of things in there right now that I really don't have any interest in tending to, and I have a very specific plan. Some things I'll keep. There's a really big rose bush there already, and there's a fig tree that's there that's existing that I'm excited about. I don't normally use figs, but it'll be fun to try to cook with them. Other than that, it's a lot of like flowers that are in there, and I want to do a combination of flower and veg garden. So I want to do some cut flowers and also vegetables and fruits, but there's one bed in particular that I know I really want to get cleared today so that I can start planning and planting. So yeah, my boyfriend is very concerned about the presence of lead, so he pretty much is like, I don't want you to grow food in there until we figure out that there's no lead in it, which is the safe, thing to do, as I mentioned. So he's gonna help me build some raised beds, and I'm quite handy, so I could do it too, but it's just nice to have him doing this with me. So let's get to the plot, shall we? I'm gonna gather up my things, I have a sweater on, but put on my warm coat because it's a little chilly outside. It's like low 40s, high 30s or something like that, maybe 40s, I think 40s. 40s today, so get my gloves and let's go show you around the plot. So I'm here. Okay, this is the space. It starts from this side of the tree and goes all the way over here to the edge of the patio. A few things that I want to keep that are already in my space. So one of them is this giant rose bush right here. I will definitely be holding on to that. And then behind this tree right here, over there, is a fig tree. As I mentioned, this tree right here is like pretty dead actually. There's a huge root. There is a pretty big vine weed right there that just like overtook the tree last year and apparently is like caused a bunch of problems. Chris cut it back to right there, but it's killed off, we think, a lot of this tree, which ends up giving a ton of shade to the area, which we don't really want. A lot of the crops that I want to grow, things like tomatoes, peppers, these are all like very full sun plants. So having this giant tree is a bit of a problem because it's going to add so much shade to the area. So we kind of had to figure out if it was even on our property, which it is, so we're going to have to take a chainsaw to it and get most of these branches taken out, and then I guess a professional to come and dig out the tree maybe? I'm not sure, but that tree has to go. It's taking up so much valuable real estate and it's dead. So yeah, of course the fig tree will stay behind it, but that big tree right there has to go. And then there's just this pole here, which apparently is the other problem area of the garden. It is full of wood wasps, which apparently are not vicious, just annoying, I guess. And we had an exterminator come to take care of that, and they are back, I guess, for the first time last year after several years of being gone, so that's kind of a bummer. But yeah. And and there's some things to feed the wildlife that would stay, like that bird feeder. And it looks like he periodically throws out things like I just saw, yeah, like a strawberry right there, and there's a pumpkin back there for wildlife to eat. This is all just like a mess of vines, and this is probably the most problematic bed here. So from there to along here, along there, that's kind of my growing space, but there's tons of rocks and stuff back here that will have to be taken care of. That's my coffee that I brought with me, but this table here is Chris's, and they have chairs and stuff that they keep stored in the garage. So in the summertime there's a chair and umbrellas that are perfect for sitting on this amazing deck that Chris built. If you have any experience living in a big city or know anything about city life, you know what a treasure this all is. So I'm itching to get my garlic planted, but like I said, I really don't feel comfortable growing things out here until I get a soil test. So my plan for today, I'm just gonna keep it small and manageable, is to clear out this first bed here. So I'm just gonna clear it all out, throw all the plants and stuff over in this pile, which is currently what he's been doing. And yeah, that's the idea. So that's my plan for today. I need to get some gloves on because it is freezing out here, and I'm feeling like a bit of an idiot for not bringing a hand-knit hat. This was going to definitely be the more problematic area. It is full of rocks, but the problem is whatever this thing is right here, I'm really not sure. Chris said he wasn't sure either. It's just kind of taking over this area. The root system on this is like filtering out into here. So, and then also around this area, it's just the whole bed is full of giant rocks like this. So it's definitely going to be a task to get all these rocks out. I really didn't want to dig the bed. As I mentioned, I want to do like a no-dig method, just feed the soil like the Charles Dowding method. But with all of the rocks that are in here, I do feel like maybe it would be best to kind of start with a blank slate and make sure that all of these like gigantic rocks are mixed out of it, and just turn it for the first time, and then from then on only do the no-dig method. I don't know. And I have struck black gold, as they say. There are not a ton, but there are a few worms that I've seen in it, so that's exciting. I've been on my plot for about almost 2.5 hours now, and I'm starting to lose the light, so I have to stop for the day, but I'm pretty pleased with what I got done. Obviously, I really wanted to get my garlic planted this week, but I don't think that's gonna happen. The bed prep is just too extensive. But let me show you what I finished today. So my main goal was to get this front bed ready for adding some compost and feeding the soil. I don't know what this plant is right here. I'm not sure. I'm leaving it for now, but I think it's gonna end up going just because I have such a plan for what I want to do for this bed. And maybe I will put it in a container or just put it somewhere else, because it would be a shame to waste it because it is alive. I just don't know what it is. But I've cleared most of this bed. This bed over here, oh my god, is so rocky. As you can see, I've pulled out like this from in the soil. So back when they built this patio right here, they just kind of cleared all the stuff out of here and put it over here because they had to do something with that dirt. So I'm sure there were a lot of, it's Brooklyn, so I'm sure there were a lot of these like bricks and stuff, and they're just everywhere in this bed. So I'm thinking that bed, I'm just gonna have to build a raised bed on top of it rather than trying to fix it, because the work is just too extensive. But this plant right here, oh my god, such a beast. I have no idea what this is, but the root system is extremely invasive. It's crawled out to like out here and up into the bed up there. It's just like the roots are alive and well. I have no clue what this is, neither does Chris, so I don't really have the proper tools to dig that out. I really need a shovel to just like really dig the whole thing out. I haven't, it just occurred to me I probably should have had a little Google to see what bindweed looks like, because I've heard of the horrors of bindweed, and I'm hoping that's not what it is. I've like not chopped it up into a million pieces that are then just gonna sprout and grow, so I will check on that. But yeah, I just don't have the proper tools to remove it, so I couldn't finish the entire job of this front bed. But I think I got quite a bit done in, the 2.5 hours that I was here, so I'm very pleased with that. It's going to take a lot of work to get it into shape, but luckily it's winter, so it's the perfect time to do that. Of course, I haven't even started to tackle any of that yet. I'll have to save that for another day, but for now, I'm going to work on just these front 2 beds, and I'll probably be back here sometime this weekend to continue working on it if it's not rainy.